All right. So, yeah. Well, I'll address that in class today. So, reading from last night. Remember, last night, dang it, 1 for 3 now. So, last night I trusted you. Last night I expected you to read, and you didn't have to take notes. So, hopefully you did that. So, let's see how well the discussion goes today. So, I'm looking obviously in chapter 4, section 1 now. Be prepared to have some reading from your summer reading books coming up very soon. Okay? So just hopefully you remember where those are, because the summer reading book does a very nice job when we get to civil liberties and public policies and stuff like that. Now, we are going to kind of graze through this kind of quickly, for the simple fact is that we will readdress it when we come to the specific court cases. Because as you probably read last night, you got a couple court cases last night. Like what, 4-ish? Or 5? Yeah. So, and I don't want to teach you 5 court cases all at the same time. It's going to all mesh together and you won't get it. That's why we take 1 week at a time. You have 3 court cases right now. Technically 4 if you consider Gideon. But Gideon's so easy because it brings up selective incorporation. That's why it's talked about earlier. So I'm going to kind of blaze through this quickly, and I'm not going to talk about the cases yet. We'll talk about these cases when we get to them in our crash course book, okay? So some things we need to understand, some basic things of the Bill of Rights and the ideas of the amendments. So please make sure we understand this. So, first, we understand that the Bill of Rights was, or you tell me, what was the Bill of Rights really created for? Sir? To appease the states. In order to reassure the states that the federal government would not violate their rights and the rights of their citizens. It was a ratification strategy, okay? Because again, the Bill of Rights wasn't intended to protect the citizens from what level of government? National government, federal government, central government. They never intended it at that time, well maybe some people did, but it wasn't obvious, that the Bill of Rights would protect it from states, because they felt the states were closer to the people, so the states would not violate their citizens' rights. Referring to this idea, we see this in a court case. What court case kind of said, you know what? The Bill of Rights are not going to be incorporated into state law. This is a huge one here. Barron v. Baltimore. Barron v. Baltimore said, and that was in what year? 1833. I thought it was 25. That was New York. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Barron v. Baltimore really established that selective incorporation could not exist. Again, this is 1825. This is before what massive amendment that opened or created the door and opened it for selective incorporation? Ms. Peoples. Outstanding. There we go. The 14th Amendment opened that door. So, I mean, I'm not doing the math. It's like, what, 32 years-ish? 32 years-ish. So, again, that's so crucial. You need to know that. And, again, just need to know the theme of the court case and then the impact. The theme is that it dealt with the ideas of incorporating the Bill of Rights to state law. And it says, and the impact was, nope, can't happen. Can't happen at all, okay? And, again, 1833, what's historically going on in 1833? Think about it. Historically, what's happening? It's prior to the... And what is the hottest debate? Slavery and states' rights. States' rights, okay? So imagine that court was influenced by the population at this time, specifically probably the South, saying, boy, if we go If we say it can be incorporated, they might have seceded then. They might have seceded then. So again, this is the courts being very reflective of the populace. And that's something that we'll talk a lot about when we get to the Supreme Court, specifically because we will see that the intention was for them to be insulated from popular opinion. But we can see nowadays that they are not insulated from popular opinion. They are not. They are definitely affected by popular opinion. I mean, look at gay rights. I mean, it's clearly evident there. You could make a ruling on gay rights either way. Easily either way. You can make an easy ruling on abortion either way. You could find justifications on either side. So again, their decisions are definitely reflected of their personal opinions and the opinions of the population. And you can see that in the 5-4 decisions that we've been getting left and right. They're not unanimous decisions. All right? We understand due process. We understand this incorporation doctrine. It's the same thing. Let's do a little quick. Yes, ma'am.
So the selective incorporation is also involved in Gitlow versus the New York?
Yeah, we can talk about Gitlow. Gitlow is the court case that said selective incorporation can exist. So the 14th Amendment opened the door. I'm sorry, the 14th Amendment created the door, as I'm trying to use that same analogy. Created the door. Gitlow opened the door, okay? And every time we use the incorporation doctrine, the selective incorporation doctrine or selective incorporation, whatever, it all means the same. We walk through it. Every instance, we go through it, in and out, in and out, in and out. So again, 14th Amendment created the door. Gitlow v. New York opened the door for selective incorporation. And then each time we go through it, we use selective incorporation.
What about
Gideon v. Wainwright was one of the first really big examples of the selective incorporation being established. I mean, that's a big one. I mean, it's saying that all levels of court you have to provide an attorney, that's huge, that's massive. It did not establish the selective incorporation doctrine. It established the selective incorporation doctrine for right to an attorney, which gets a little confusing. Again, if you ever get a Gideon v. Wainwright question, which there has been multiple FRQ questions on that. There has. I think 2 off the top of my head. It's okay to say, selective incorporation was established for the right to attorney through Gideon v. Wainwright. You're not going to get that wrong. But then immediately after that sentence, what should we say? What's our rule? Explain everything. So what's the next sentence? No, not explain Gideon v. Wainwright, which you can. You got to explain selective incorporation. And if the kids did that last year on the 4th FRQ, and you're going to get the 4th FRQ eventually for last year, the one that I graded, it would have got the point. It would have got the point. And it's so sad because they do a beautiful job and then they don't tell me what selective incorporation is. And it's simply put, applying Bill of Rights to state laws. That's it. And again, your explain everything should be 1 sentence long, very concise and to the point. I'm reading your FRQs now, and I see you explaining everything, but not concisely enough. And that's fine. That's great. I would prefer to have that problem than the other one, that you're not trying to do it. So that's a beautiful thing. They're not bad FRQs. Yes, do some people get zeros? Yes. It is the nature of it. If you got a 0, how much did it affect your grade? About 1.5%. So it's not destroying people's grades. But again, explain everything concisely. Well, I might as well say it because then it's recorded so everybody can listen to it again. This is serious time. And I have to do this every single year. It's unfortunate, but I have to. And if I make eye contact with you, I don't think I'm referring to you. So you can stop taking notes at this time. Some of you have probably already found this out, but you can go online and incredibly easily find the grading rubrics. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, and quite frankly, you know what? I'm going to tell you it. You could go online right now and Google and find every single rubric published by the AP College Board. You could. on every single FRQ out there. They're not hidden. They're not locked. You can do it right now and you'd probably be top search. I've had students use those to study from. I had a student my first year, this individual was doing it, and I had an idea that he was doing it, and he was getting crazy good scores on his FRQs, and then he goes about and gets a 1 on the test. He was at a 4 average, and then he drops to a 1. It is, you're worried about your grade. I understand that, trust me. I appreciate that. But that is going to destroy you for the actual test because you are not training your brain to think. Okay? You're not training your brain to think. Some of the things that I do to prevent this, I'm going to give you unannounced FRQs. What I do to prevent this. You can't study for FRQs. I don't even want you to try to study for FRQs. Another thing that I do is I don't make FRQs a massive part of your grade. But I cannot stress to you enough that if you go out and let's say one day I do give you a topic, which I have for these past 2 tests or FRQs, and you go and find the topic, it won't be hard, and memorize the rubric, it's going to destroy your chances for the exam. And quite frankly, it's going to, any relationship that you have with me or any respect you have for me goes right out the door. Because you don't have enough respect for yourself, and you don't have enough respect for the class, and you don't have enough respect for me to say, you know what, I'm just going to study this old school. I'm not going to make it easy, because it would be a terrible consequence to get a B or an A in this class and then get a 1 or a 2 on the test. Because if you're getting a B or A in this class, you're going to pass the exam. Quite frankly, even the C's are going to pass the exam. I had a C last time get a 4. But it would be a terrible thing to do that. And you have to have enough respect for yourselves not to do it. And you know what? Some teachers think it'd be stupid for me to tell you this. Well, whatever. I don't think it's stupid at all. I trust you. And some of you probably already Googled it. I would have. I would have Googled it. It's not hard to find. Super ridiculously easy. So it's up to you. It's up to you. So I'm just going to put that out there. Because I have read a few of the FRQs, and they are too good. They are too good. I have not taught you that well yet. And I'm grading them honestly, and if you get the point, you get the point. But it concerns me a great deal that they're too good, that the language is spot on. Things that I haven't taught you yet, you know, which concerns me. So I'm just going to put that out there. I trust you. I don't lie to you, and I'm honest with you. I hope that you have the same respect for yourselves and for me as I do for you. Let's move on. So, again, I hate that every single textbook puts this chapter so soon in the year. I hate it. I prefer to talk to it, after Christmas, to be completely honest, but I know kids hate when they go out of order. So, again, what we're stressing here is the Bill of Rights was fundamentally incorporated to just federal law and then selectively incorporated state law through the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment was that conduit, okay? The due process and the equal protection clause of it. All right, so freedom of religion, I don't want to talk about it. I really don't. I don't want to talk about it. But I do want to talk about the 2 clauses, though. Okay? What are the 2 clauses that deal with religion in the First Amendment? Rahel, please. Free exercise and okay, there we go. That works too. Free exercise clause. I find that one to be the most difficult one. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my brain. But what is the free exercise clause? Go ahead, Rahel.
It prohibits the government from interfering with the religion from
Not specific.
exercising.
There it is. Thank you. From you exercise. If you want to pray to Jesus, to Allah, to Buddha, to
Just
whatever,
monster.
the happy monster, you can. You can. But the free exercise clause has been limited. What's some examples of the free exercise clause being limited? Okay.
With like one of the religions, they would smoke like weed or something.
Yep. Or LSD was a popular thing. You cannot make religion cannot make an illegal action legal. Okay? You'll learn that in a court case coming up. So that deals with an individual. So free exercise deals with you as an individual. The establishment clause, come on, wake up. These, man, that's not good. I'm losing my voice. The establishment clause deals with what, Zach? Don't look at me. You should know this in your brain already. Come on, this is review. What does it sound like? Establishment clause.
Establishes religion, like no law, like going against the religion.
Okay, so who's making laws?
The government.
Government cannot make laws
Like going against their religion.
that either hinders or helps a religion. Welcome to the Lemon Test. I had to learn this Lemon Test when I was going through my master's degree, and we were given it was awful. It was like the what if class, where he would give us a situation, and we would have to oh my gosh, it was like if a Christian group wants to meet at the flag bowl on school property 5 minutes before school starts, is that allowed under the Lemon Test? And you're like, holy crap, is that allowed? And if they run over, did you violate the Lemon Test? And it was awful because it was such splitting hairs. But there's the Lemon Test, and it's back in 71, and there's been a lot of disputes over the lemon. Some people don't think the Lemon Test is right anymore. But there's the 3 parts. You do need to know those 3 parts. There has been an FRQ with the Lemon Test in it, and you had to identify all 3 parts. But it's not that bad. I'm going to simplify it for you. Has to be secular. What is secular? It's a fancy word. What is it, RJ? Secular is a fancy word for
Religion.
opposite. No, that's not the opposite of religion.
What do you mean?
What does secular mean? You are a Christian. I know this, and your mama's a huge Christian. So you should know what secular means.
I forgot what it means.
Opposite of religion, non-religion, non-religious. This pen is secular.
Right.
Okay? All right. Secular, non-religious. It's a fancy word for non-religious. Okay. The actions cannot either hinder or help religion. And this is the one that you're like, holy crap, what does this mean? It cannot have excessive entanglement with religion. What the heck is excessive entanglement? If I accidentally walk as a principal of a school and I walk through a Christian group praying, am I entangling myself? Or if I observe a Christian group praying, am I entangling myself? I mean, who the heck knows what entanglement is? So again, you can see that's where it's highly critical. You're like, what does entanglement mean?
Is that up to interpretation?
Big time, bud. That's the problem. It's not concrete. And this is a major issue, not at this school or any private school, but it's at a public school. Because what do a lot of groups, like we have meet at the flagpole, don't we? Am I entangling? If I was Dr. K, or if I was a principal of Montford Academy was a public school, and I said meet at the pole was okay, before school, am I entangling religion? And better yet, if I say no, am I hindering it? Because I'm not allowed to hinder it either.
What about lessons and carols that we have at the
Oh, that's not even going to happen in a public school. Not when you're reading the Bible. That's not going to happen in a public school. Not going to happen. You're not even really. Did you know there's laws in public school that you have to have equal numbers of religious symbols? You can have Christmas trees under state law, but you better have the equal number of other symbols as well too.
Like all other religions?
Oh, yeah.
Even like a saint religion?
Not necessarily other That's a good question.
Like main religion?
If someone came in and complained, you'd probably lose it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And then as a principal, what are you going to do? No Christmas trees. Shut it down. I mean, look at that article I sent you about the Halloween thing. Again, trust me, folks, it's awful.
Why don't they do it by like representation? Say if like a public school had like 50% Christians, then
It can't work like that because you cannot ask somebody that. You really can't. And then you get yourself into the situation where let's say it's 90-10. You're excluding that 10%. 90% of the symbols are that, and then the 10%, it's exclusion. It's kind of the idea of not having, like, for example, a principal can't come online and ask for a moment of prayer in a public school. Let's say something terrible happens, and they ask for a moment of prayer. Better not. Better say a moment of silence.
it's like the moment of silence, like the thing that the book said at the end. They were saying that a school tried to do it, but like it was obvious that they were doing it for prayer. So
Yeah.
it's like that.
And and like Pledge of Allegiance and stuff like that. You can get out of the Pledge of Allegiance in Florida public schools, but the parents have to put in a written request for them to not. It's pretty crazy, folks. Sure.
Doesn't that go against socialization?
What do you mean go against it?
Like socialization is bringing the youth. Like,
Yeah, but socialization is an involuntary process. You're going through socialization at this very second. Socialization is not a right. Socialization is the outcome of your experiences by having, let's say, the conversation you had with your mom last night. Crap. Come sit down. But socialization. You guys get that map, don't you? I know I got it in here somewhere. Or maybe I don't. I threw them all out this morning. We'll just exempt you from it, and my apologies. You have yourself a donut.
No, I'm good.
You don't want no donuts?
I ate fried rice for
You ate fried rice for breakfast? That is just living up to the standard, I tell you. Well, I'm sorry. We'll just exempt you from it. I apologize because they disappeared, and I'm a terrible teacher. So, I'm still recording. Great. Disregard the terrible teacher part. Okay, so again, we're going to get into these things like school prayer, Anger Be Vital, and I say Pennsylvania versus SNEP. Again, what is the big fundamental principle when it comes to religion in schools and religion in government? Separation of church and state. You're going to have an assignment tonight to look at separation of church and state and find out where that principle started and where is it, because I've read the Constitution. I don't see anything in there about a separation of church and state in those terms. So we're going to look up that idea because I have not seen it in an FRQ in quite some time. So my gut feeling, we may see some things on religion in public schools. So again, me trying to predict a little bit here. Public displays, evolution. I mean, we'll talk about this stuff, but everybody knows the theory of evolution, right? Okay, good. Again, which contradicts what? Creationism. Okay. Public displays, like I just said, public displays like Christmas trees in public schools. Again, please visualize when we talk about this types of stuff that you are putting yourself in a public school setting. Okay? Public school setting. All right, I'm feeling good about that. yeah, it's time to go. So that's good talk. Again, just keep putting these in the memory box and start looking up some information on separation of church and state. Okay? All right? Good job.
Mr. Tucker?